He's just a G like that. That's just the point of it all. I'm going to build on my confidence based off of who I am. And who I am is a daughter of God. Who I am is someone loved and paid for by Jesus Christ. And that is what gives me my worth. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is probably going to be the first video that I post after having not posted for like 3 weeks. You might not have noticed, but it has taken a toll on me. But I'm very excited that I'm finally posting again, that I'm back. This video, I wanted to be a little more lighthearted than the rest of my videos that I have posted in the past. There's still gonna be a level of like seriousness to it, but I wanted to bring something a little more lighthearted, a little more joyous, something a little fresh that can like lighten your mood while we're all, stuck in quarantine. So basically, I wanted to talk about this quarantine. I wanted to talk about the virus.
Coronavirus!
Didn't want to talk about like the science and the death tolls and all the craziness of the corona. I just wanted to talk about what I have learned while in self-quarantine, self-isolation, while I've been social distancing, while there's been a pandemic happening, whatever you want to call it. I just want to talk about what I have learned, what I have experienced, what has come about from this virus, from this quarantine. So the first thing that I learned while in quarantine is, you guessed it, how to make whipped coffee. I'm sure 99% of you guys have heard about the famous, the one, the only whipped coffee. Now let me tell you, friends, I have made whipped coffee a total of 4 times since quarantine has started, and it probably would have been a bigger number had I not realized that the second thing I semi-learned while in quarantine, because I already knew this prior to quarantine, but it was really solidified for me during quarantine, is that I have a caffeine/coffee intolerance. I can't drink coffee. I used to be able to drink coffee like every day. Now I can't drink it. I can't do the caffeine. It don't work with my system. I have had anxiety, guys, my entire life, but it's progressively gotten worse and has developed into panic disorder. I've explained this in my recent videos. I don't really want to go into that right now because sheesh. But caffeine does not help when you're anxious. It's not good for an anxious soul like me. And it gives me the jitters. I feel like I'm on a I don't even know. It's just, I'm paranoid. It's just not good for me. Not only that, but I have gastritis. And so if you don't know what it is, it's just terrible feeling, burning sensation in your stomach after certain foods or certain things that you drink that trigger it, and coffee is one of them. Coffee definitely triggers my gastritis. And so not only am I super anxious, super jittery, off the wall crazy, not only that, but my stomach, guys, just does not do well in my stomach. I do want to say that the texture, the taste, the experience of the whipped coffee is immaculate, like none other. I have never tasted coffee with such amazing texture and taste. It was just 10 out of 10. Like, it hit and marked off every single box. It was delicious. It was worth the 75 hours of this. Literally, guys, you think you're done? No, you're not. You got to keep going for another 10 hours. It was worth every second of that. It tasted like a cloud, a coffee cloud. I don't know. But it was so, so good. And that's why I'm so sad to say that I don't think I'm going to drink coffee for either the rest of my life or for a very long time. Okay, moving on to the third thing that I learned while in quarantine It's actually something pretty fun, pretty cool, if you ask me, if I say so myself. And I have had this uke for almost 2 years now. Well, a year and a half. Khalil got it for me for Christmas in 2018. So it's been a while, and I had only known like one song for the longest time. Because I knew that song, that's why I wanted the ukulele, so I could play that one song. And I don't know, it wasn't tuned. I didn't realize I could just download an app and tune it, and so I didn't really do much with her, but guys, I learned a song. I hope I don't get copyrighted for like playing it. I don't think I will, but if you guys could guess the song, put your guess down below in the comments, and let's see if you get it right. Let's see if I can even do this. Honestly, I haven't done it in a couple of days. I'm a little rusty, but comment down below if you can guess what song that is. But that is something I learned while in quarantine. It took me about 5 minutes, but every single time I do it, it sounds the same. So does practice make perfect? I don't know. All right, now the fourth thing I have learned while in quarantine is that it is possible. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is possible for me to go a day without seeing Khalil. And I never would have thought that was possible unless it was for you, Quarantina. So I see you, shawty, showing me that I'm an independent woman and I can make it. I'm being so extra. I'm so dramatic, honestly. Dramatic is my middle name. Having to quarantine without him is very heartbreaking, to say the least. But I can do it. That was the worst wink in the history of winks. I know it. I know it. Now this is where it starts to get a little more serious. The fifth thing that I have learned while in quarantine, I feel like I have to give a little backstory. I have grown up in church like my whole life. Like I don't remember not going to church. Like I don't remember life without church. I mean, my mom started bringing me to church when I was like a baby, a mere infant. And so I have gone to church every week for as long as I can remember. I'm sure there have been weeks, you know, here and there where I've missed. But for the most part, I've been going to church every single week since ever. And this is, quite frankly, the longest time that I have gone without church. I honestly don't really know the exact amount of time it's been. Probably 5 weeks. Since 5-6 weeks maybe. It's been about 5 or 6 weeks since I have gone to church, to a physical building with physical people called church. And so I didn't really know what life was like without church. Church really was like that one thing that I've had my whole life, and not going to church has honestly, I don't really know. I can't really put into words like yet how it's affected me, but what I do know for sure is that it's really, really easy to make your relationship with God based on church and based on ministry. And it's very easy to make a routine and a habit of praying because you're at church, or worshiping because you're at church, or serving because you're at church. And when you don't have church anymore, yes, the first week you are still on that church fire. And it's easy to, pray, read your Bible, whatever. But after a while, it's kind of like you're out of your routine. And I found myself, at least myself personally, I can't speak for anyone else. I'm sure there are people out there that are just rocking it. You guys are rock stars. I believe it. But for me personally, I found, at least in the last couple months, I wasn't as close to God as I thought I was. And the reason why I really thought I was because of church, was because I was going to church 4 times a week minimum. And my life was surrounded by church people. And I was constantly in an environment that made it easy for me to pray and worship and get into the word without much discipline on my part. All I had to do was show up. And now that, I'm just here at home and have no one to hold me accountable really except for myself, I am realizing that I really wasn't as close to God as I thought I was, because my discipline in that area kind of just boop. And I realized that I was idolizing a lot of things in my life, including my boyfriend, my dreams, myself. And I think that there comes a point in every believer's life where you have to truly self-analyze and see, like, what am I idolizing in this season of my life? Because it's so easy to fall into the trap of idolizing something other than God, or putting something in God's place. And I found myself there, and there was just a night that I was up until, 4 a.m. and I just cried to God. I was like, Lord, I am so sorry. Please forgive me for idolizing so many things in my life and not putting you first. I could say I was putting him first because he was obviously still like the number one thing in my life, because he's been the number one thing in my life forever. But honestly, he really wasn't, because I wasn't spending time with him. I wasn't going to him first with my dreams and my ideas and seeking his guidance. I was trying to do things on my own, or just trying to seek advice from people that I thought knew better than God, but not really. It was just, you just get stuck in that trap. And it opened up my eyes to that. And that night I just sat there and I cried to the Lord. I said, Lord, please forgive me. Please renew to me that first love. And God really spoke to me, and he reminded me that he is God. And so there's no point in time where he's petty, or where he is unfaithful, or where he's the one that's causing the distance or the rift in the relationship. It's always up to us. The ball's always in our court as to whether our relationship with God is going to thrive. And so I was just so grateful in that moment, and I'm glad that I was able to have that moment with him and truly surrender all the things that I was just obsessing over, regarding my future, getting married, and all those things that just flood your mind during this time in quarantine. And I was able to fully surrender those things to God. Now, the 6th thing that I learned pretty early on, as this whole coronavirus quarantine situation started happening, I really realized that it is absolutely true that God is sovereign and in control of everything. And if you don't have your foundation built on him, you have your foundation on rocky ground. If you have your foundation built in your business, at any moment, like this coronavirus has proven, that can be taken away from you. If your foundation is built on a person, as this coronavirus has also shown, at any moment that could be taken from you. If your foundation is built on yourself, at any moment your health can be taken from you. And if you don't have a solid foundation on God, your foundation is rocky, and Jesus Christ is the only solid rock. He is the only foundation that is recession proof completely, that is pandemic proof completely. So I'm really taking this moment to really embed into my mind that no matter how much money I have in my bank account, no matter how beautiful of a family I have, no matter how much of a successful, thriving business I have, no matter how healthy I am or my family is, none of that is promised. The only thing that is promised is Jesus Christ and his salvation and his love. And so that is what I'm building my foundation on. And I pray that you guys can build your foundation on Jesus Christ, the rock. And I know so many people are turning to Jesus during this time. And I think that is the most beautiful part of this whole thing. Salvation is roaring and we are in a revival. People are saying revival is going to start when we get back to church. No, honey, the revival is starting now. There are so many people turning to Christ because they have no other place to turn to. Because as I'm saying, there's no solid foundation, the foundation of Christ. And I am just overjoyed in my spirit at how many people are turning to Jesus. It is beautiful. Now, the seventh thing that I have learned while in quarantine about myself is that although my entire life I took so much pride in knowing that I was an extremely confident individual, but it wasn't until recently that I realized that was not true at all. I was not self-confident. I was confident, but I was not confident in myself. I was confident in what other people told me about myself. Now let me explain. I knew I was beautiful. I knew I was smart. I knew that I was passionate. I knew that I was a woman of God. I knew all of these things about myself. But the only reason that I knew them and I was confident in those things was because people had reaffirmed me in those areas. I had been told that I was beautiful. And so because I had been told that I was beautiful, I believed I was beautiful. I had been told that I was intelligent. And because I had been told over and over again that I was intelligent, I then believed that I was intelligent. I had been told that I was a woman of God. And since I was told that, I had believed that I was a woman of God. All of these things I was told and I believed in. But you cannot build your confidence on that. You cannot build your self-confidence in knowing what other people think of you and saying that that's why you're beautiful and that's why you're smart because somebody else told you you were. No, honey, you're beautiful and you're smart because you just are. Whether somebody tells you or not, whether somebody believes that or not. If somebody were to come up to me right now and tell me that I was ugly, dumb, I wasn't going to amount to anything, I'm not going to sit here and say that's not true because so-and-so told me. No, I'm going to say that's not true because I know who I am. No matter what anyone says, whether somebody comes to me with negative feedback or positive feedback, no matter what the feedback is, I'm going to appreciate it for what it is, but I'm going to know who I am no matter what, whether I receive negative feedback, positive feedback. It doesn't matter what kind of feedback I get from other people because that's just projections of what they believe really about themselves. So I'm not going to take any of that as building blocks for my confidence. I'm going to build on my confidence based off of who I am. And who I am is a daughter of God. Who I am is someone loved and paid for by Jesus Christ. And that is what gives me my worth. That is my inherent worth, knowing that I am a daughter of God, that He doesn't make no mistakes. He has created me beautiful, created me with gifts and talents, and I am uniquely me. I am Crystal, and there is nobody else in this world that is me. I am one in one. And knowing that about myself and being confident about that, not based off of what anybody says about me, because that's what I believe about myself, knowing that has totally shifted my perspective and has allowed me to quote unquote grow tougher skin. It's not that I've grown tougher skin, it's just that in your core you know who you are. Nothing anyone says towards you that is really just a projection of themselves can infiltrate into that core belief system. It's just going to slide right off of you. I mean, granted, it's not that easy and it doesn't happen overnight. I'm still 100% a work in progress. I'm nowhere near where I should be in regards to that area, but at least I know now that I should not be receiving my confidence and affirmation from someone else. And I'm glad that I came to that realization, and I think that's probably the coolest realization I've ever made. Honestly, I think it's totally going to shift everything in my life, and that's something that I'm passionate about now, and I hope I can share that to the world. And number 8 kind of goes along with number 7, and number 8, the 8th thing that I learned while in quarantine is that my dreams and my goals for my life are not as far-fetched as I thought that they were. It's not like I have to wait years and years and years for me to reach my goals or my dreams. I could literally start now. The only thing stopping me is me. And I know you've probably heard that so many times, but it's the truth. We really are just waiting for like this perfect moment, the perfect resources, for everything to just align perfectly, but it's never going to. That's just the honest truth. And so we're gonna have to take risks. No successful person never failed, you know. There are risks that need to be taken in order to get to where you want to go. And I'm realizing now that it's in reach. Like, the things that I want out of my life are in reach. I don't have to wait years for them to happen. And so I'm going to keep you guys updated on that one, because there are so many beautiful ideas that have sprung up in my heart that I'm working on, new projects that I'm working on, and I cannot wait to bring you guys along on that journey. But yeah, guys, your dreams are not as far-fetched as you think. Don't limit yourself to perfect scenarios and money or whatever. Understand that it's inside of you. What you need is already inside of you. And that with God on your side, there is nothing you cannot do. Number 9 is probably something we all have learned while in quarantine, and it's patience. We might not be that good at it, but it's something we need. Patience is a virtue. Patience is necessary. And while we wait, we're not waiting. We're not just wandering. While we wait, we're making something out of the waiting time. We are capitalizing on the time that we have while we're waiting. We're not just waiting around for the next big thing to happen, or for, you know, maybe you're like me, you want to get married. We're not going to just wait for that huge wedding day. Like, we're going to capitalize on the time that we have now in the waiting. There's so much you can learn, so much you can do while you're waiting to make what you're waiting for so much better than if you were to just wait for it to happen. If you capitalize on that time of waiting, that thing that you're waiting for is going to be so much better. And finally, number 10 is just so beautiful, and it's something that I'm so glad that I've been realizing lately. And it's that God has my back. Literally, as simple as that. God has my back. And when you can come to that realization that God has your back, I know we say it all the time, you know, if God is for me, who can be against me? But really, like, when God got your back, like, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like in every season, I'm always like, God, I know you've shown me that you were real, but I need you to show me that you were real in this season. And I'm telling you guys, God does it for me every single time. He's just a G like that. He's just the greatest that ever was. Like, he is the only GOAT. He is the greatest of all time. And he really has my back, and it's really all about him. And that's just the point of it all. And I'm just grateful. I'm overjoyed. Knowing that I am a daughter of the king, the coolest, the king, the GOAT, the one and only. I love you, Jesus. But yeah, that is the 10 things that I have learned while in quarantine. I am going to get some water because I am feeling a little parched. I'm gonna turn this light off because it is killing me. I love you guys so much. I'm so happy that I'm finally back. I can't wait for you guys to see my next video. I pray that you guys liked this. If you liked it, please give it a huge thumbs up. Please subscribe down below. If you're not subscribed and you're watching my videos, subscribe. Please. I love you guys. I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye.